Ladies and gentlemen, it is football season. Go, Pack, go.
This is Tom Grossi, and you're watching the PackReacts podcast.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here. PackReacts is back. Packer Nation is back. Football is back pretty much until we got 1 week, Mike, till the Packers play football.
1 week to exactly.
Yeah.
To the minute almost. I think the game's at 8:30, right?
Yeah. So it makes it even better of us having our show tonight.
8:15. So we're about 30 minutes late. But yeah, that's right.
That is true. We are, and this again. We're starting off. We did do an episode a couple weeks before, but now we got back into the sling of things here, where we get talking about our Packers football here. We're going to talk about the depth chart because
Real quick,
there were some moves.
We got to address the elephant in the room.
Go ahead, sir.
We're cheating on StreamYard.
That is true. We are cheating on StreamYard. That's because I ran out of the amount of hours you're supposed to have. Like, I went over it. So I have to wait for another week for it to go back on.
Really?
So this is,
I didn't know that was a thing. So there's
there's a limit. There's a limit of the free plan option, apparently. When you go over 24 hours, that includes live streams and recording, even if you delete all of that stuff, Mike, it still counts it. And it was stupid. So StreamYard did that to me. So I'm hooking up with this to see what happens. I don't know if we'll continue with this, but StreamYard annoyed me.
I like it so far. It seems pretty cool. Like the background.
Yeah, we got the nice background. We got good stuff here. But yeah, we're going with the elf in the room here, which is what we're going to see here. And we do have, for the fun feature, guys, is this a bit of a go.
Oh, look at that. Nice
Yeah.
scrolling bar. That would have been good for the we did kind of have it for the draft thing.
We did have for the draft.
Yeah, and I spent a lot of time on that. Hopefully people find that useful. But yeah, I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So this is what we're going to be dealing with here, folks, of what we got here.
Oh, also, I know we're just on YouTube and I guess Jeremy's personal Facebook now. So that's a new platform that we're on. But we will be back on Twitter. Twitter changed their policy that we realized last time that you have to pay for it. Oh, man.
Yes.
Elon Musk killing us. It's all right. We'll end up paying for it, but it just didn't make sense to do it for today, I guess.
Yeah.
Pay for August for 1 day when that'll be what do you call it? A September start for next week.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to be waiting for. But yeah, feel free to comment in the chat, folks. We would appreciate it. And follow us on the YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We also have, for what we have so far, Mike, is what we're going to have is our fantasy football league of the Packer fans here. We're going to have that. We're going to have that.
Thank you to John for coordinating that.
Yeah, we might do a show, and we could be live streaming it next week during the middle of the draft, folks. We could be doing that, so that's a possible option. We'll see about that. But yeah, so we're back here. We're going to use this, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Packers breakdown of the whole moves, cuts. New kicker is the big thing here, ladies and gentlemen, and who is going to be starting, because there were some starters adjustments today they announced, and the kicker is the biggest surprise. But Mike, who would have known it would have been harder to replace a kicker than it is to a quarterback? Who would have known?
Yeah, the Packers cannot find their kicking solution. Mason Crosby, obviously, who you're trying to say they're going to replace, not Andrews Carlson. Obviously, I think there's not much to replace there after last year. Although I still won't put that loss completely on him. But obviously, I think if they had a better kicker, they'd probably win that game.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Grossi's interview with Mark Murphy this week. The worst time to look for a quarterback is when you need him. sometimes the worst time to look for a kicker is also when you need them. Obviously, different positions. But I said that last year. I said, like, you want a kicker where you have a guy that comes in and, is your solution there for many years, because, kickers don't really get hurt, knock on wood, right? Like, usually if you could get your guy, kind of like, let's say the Ravens with Justin Tucker, or I'm talking about like Falcons with Young Ho Ko, or so, like, there's not much movement there. It's a pretty steady position. The NFL is not for long, but usually with kickers, if you have your guy and kicker, you're not ever really going to think about that. Just don't mess with something that's working, right? We were hoping that Anders Carlson could become that. When I went to training camp last year, did not look like that was going to be the case, and it kind of played out that way during the season.
Yep.
We gave him competition this year.
Great Joseph.
Didn't watch a ton of the preseason, but apparently, he did not live up to what he needed to be after last year. Neither did Greg Joseph, who they brought in to be his competition.
Yep.
Apparently, he made like a really easy 35-yarder against the Ravens, which was a really good game for the Packers. I was not able to watch, unfortunately, but that was a bad miss. So, kind of the route that Andy Herman was mentioning the whole time that I figured they'd go after hearing kind of how bad both kickers were, was they'd keep one on the roster, and the next day pick somebody off of waivers from another team. That's what they ultimately ended up doing. So, Braden Narvison, who I watched a video of him kicking on YouTube, posted that on the Twitter. Not sure if you saw it, Jeremy.
No, I didn't get to that.
You should see it. Yeah, I mean, he looks like, I don't know how old he is. He looks like a kid, though. He looks like us. He looks like he's going to be on this podcast. I'm that kid, man. He looks like you, maybe.
He's 24. He's my brother's age. His birthday is September 28th.
So I guess, so he's an undrafted free agent. So he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Right, so they got even younger at the position. They went from a guy that, they drafted last year in the 6th round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, pretty sure.
To somebody who's undrafted, picked up by the Titans, and then was released by the Titans. Who's the Titans kicker?
It's the veteran guy. I think it's Nick Folk, the last time I remember.
Yeah, Nick Folk. So, I guess they didn't really need a kicker. So it's not like he got beat, right? Like it was never a good competition. So so that's good. It's not like he was in competition with two guys that really had a chance to get it, and he lost it. He was never really going to get that job. So apparently he was perfect, the extra points.
Yes.
In his career or during the preseason? I think maybe during his career, right?
I believe in his career.
In the preseason, I think he kicked pretty well. I saw saying he missed one kick. It was from like 58 yarders or something. 58 yards.
Yeah. Well, he nailed the 56-yard in today's practice, Mike.
Really?
The first day of practice, he nails it with the wind.
Huh. I didn't see that. But no, I mean, that video I was watching seemed like he's pretty good.
Yeah.
But, he didn't have pads on. It was but he was kicking. He was kicking. And that's, so you need him to do, just kick him down the middle. And I'm not sure on kickoffs how he's going to be with the new landing zone concept and the new rules.
Yeah.
But obviously with the kicker position, number one is field goals, points on the board. Number two, I would say, is kickoffs.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting.
I'm not sure about onside kicks, but onside kicks really isn't part of the game anymore. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very interesting with especially with week 1's game, like how close it is since we're a week away. It's going to be very close to see how well he does in action against Philly.
Yeah.
Especially in Brazil.
Yeah. He's got a free trip to Brazil. Who would have thought?
Yeah. It's fantastic to go to that. But there are issues, though, Mike, of the game because there have been forest fires out there.
That's what I was about to say that. I did see reports.
The air quality is pretty bad out there. So I don't know if we're going to get like when you went to 30-30 for Grassi of how bad it's going to be.
Taking the words out of my mouth. Here's the thing, Jeremy, right? If I was able to get that video in our thing, right? Through the wildfires, the Packers could win this game. No excuse, We were out for the kids. St. Jude's raising a ton of money for St. Jude.
Mm-hmm.
Getting these videos for the podcast. Packers could play, even if the air quality is bad.
Mm-hmm.
No excuse.
Exactly.
And the Packers are leaving from Austin Straubel, right? They got the plane that can take them directly there. That's good.
Yeah.
I know that was a big problem that they were worried about, but they got a plane that could take us there.
Yeah, that is true. It's hopefully they have the game, which I would expect them to. It's gotten a little bit better, but again, we don't know how bad the air quality is going to last because it could get suspended, and we don't know what could happen because they got to come up with a decision if they're going to suspend it, which I highly doubt it's going to happen. But you have to come up with suspension very soon, though.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be very interesting, though, to see about that, of how that plays out. But yeah, we get a kicker. We're going to Brazil. Thank goodness we're not going to go to the game, but we're going to be wearing our green uniforms, Mike, because I saw on the Packers Instagram they posted the Brazil threads of the uniforms that they'll be wearing at the game.
Really? I didn't see that.
They posted it on the Instagram. They said
the green rule went out the window?
I'm assuming so from what I've been hearing from when I looked over the news. Apparently it was fake news is what everyone kept saying. It was just a whole drama spread about it. So everyone fooled us. So there will be green at that stadium. And if somehow it doesn't happen, expect the fans to wear green because they will fight for that.
Yeah.
That's both sides with Green Bay and Philly.
PackReacts is not the fake news media, so
that is true.
Where else you get your news from? It might be feeding you some fake news, but here, no fake news. We'll tell you if we're wrong. I say all the time when I don't know what I'm talking about. I did not watch much of the preseason. I watched some of the first game. I watched a lot of the first game. I'll be honest.
I didn't watch any. I watched the highlights of the Ravens game. I did watch the Broncos game till halftime, and I was like, "This is garbage. I'm turning it off because there's no point of watching that."
I was watching the Broncos game, and I was on my phone the whole time. I did not watch because it was hard to watch.
Yeah. So there's that, ladies and gentlemen, and then but heading into the Packers roster here as we went from our kicker, let's go into this Packers depth chart, Mike, because there were some announcements today of who's starting and who's not starting. What side do you want to start out with, Mike? Offense, defense, kicker? Well, we pretty much went with kicker off.
Offense, just go down.
All right, offense. Quarterback, we got Jordan Love. Backup was interesting. We had the battle between Sean Clifford and Pratt. Both of them did not do well in preseason, but Clifford got back to the practice squad, and they traded for Malik Willis from Tennessee, Mike.
Yeah, so two Tennessee guys came over in lieu of pretty big positions on the Packers, kicker and a backup quarterback. So interesting. And then one thing to note, obviously Malik Willis, they traded a 7th-round pick. I like that. I think that's a good move. You saw we cut Anthony Johnson Jr. We cut Pratt, who I think was a 7th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
7th-rounders are really kind of undrafted free agents that you can select. You have to put up to chance. I'm not too concerned about a 7th-rounder. So if you can get a backup quarterback who I believe was a 3rd-round pick a year ago or 2 years ago. Not a year ago. I think 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
3rd round, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think 3rd round.
To get him in return for a 7th, I think that's good. What's his name? Will Levis, I guess, is Tennessee's guy, right? Everyone was saying Will Levis was overrated, but Tennessee likes him. So he's their guy. I liked Will Levis coming out. Definitely liked his girlfriend, that's for sure.
I'm not a fan of him putting mayo in his coffee. I'm not a fan of that, Mike.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. But, hey, his maybe that's why his relationship ended. I'm not sure. He's doing pretty well for himself out of Tennessee, so good for him. Not sure who their backup is since they traded away Malik Willis, but check. Seems like Jeremy's on the Googles right now.
Yep. Where's my Tennessee Titans? There they are. All right, let's check real quick. Their backup quarterback is Mason Rudolph.
Oh yeah, right, Mason Rudolph. Right. Hopefully, he doesn't get concussed again by getting hit in the head with the helmet.
I had that. We were talking about that in my sports law class. We were showing what's an example that should not happen in football of like how unethical is it? And hitting someone in the helmet, Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that was just assault. Yeah, that wasn't even football.
Yeah.
That was just assault. That could happen anywhere. Yeah, so obviously Jordan Love's your guy, highest paid quarterback, and highest paid player in football.
Yep.
So they get a little bit crazy, but hopefully Jordan picks up where he left off last year, and it's complete, up and up, and then that contract. Who cares how much you're paying him? Because obviously the way he ended off the season last year, if he could start off the season, continue that, and build upon that, no one will be complaining. But then, Malik Willis, I think he's probably better than Sean Clifford or Michael Pratt. Michael Pratt, they really did not like the coaching staff. I don't know if he maybe slept with one of the coach's wives or something. I'm not really sure what happened, but they did not like that guy. And apparently he, was like playing better in preseason than Clifford was. So the fact that they didn't even consider putting him on the practice squad, I don't know. Something happened. Something happened had nothing to do with football. They must not have liked him at all.
No.
I'm not too sure. But yeah, there was definitely clearly something wrong there with Pratt. But I'm glad we got Sean Clifford back, and probably upgraded at the backup position. So all good things there.
Yep.
Any thoughts from you on quarterback?
I wanted Sean Clifford to stay just because of my connection with him, Mike, of messaging him.
Just haven't got him on the show though, and we get him on the show. Now he's a practice squad player, so you should have more time.
I mean, I sent the message out. He never responded back, so.
Well, he shouldn't. He shouldn't think he's that cool anymore. He's not the backup. Well, sorry, no. Sean, you're great. I mean, you shouldn't be too cool for us. Is what I'm saying. That's not cool. It's not too cool for us.
Hey, he could join the show in full time if he really wants to, Mike. Just let him have our Kurt Bankert on here.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Kurt Banker gets Tom Grassi, and Sean Clifford gets PackReacts. Yeah,
exactly.
It's definitely comparable.
Hey, I'll take it. I mean, the quarterback situation I do like because of what it's worth. I feel like I don't like going the young route. Like, I mean, I get with Malik Willis of him being young, but I kind of go like a little veteran, which Willis has more experience than the other two quarterbacks out there, and he's a bit mobile. And the guy who's best at developing quarterbacks is Tom Clements, and we've seen Tom do very well with quarterbacks over the years. So I really like that a lot. So I do like the deal with Malik Willis. Like, you're taking a chance on him, especially if you're a backup. Could be good for you. And he's had some NFL game experience as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say good, but he's had experience.
I agree. So, no, I very like the move. Obviously, Jordan Love's not a surprise. So, really, the only thing to talk about here is Malik Willis. So, yeah. They didn't go with third, which I didn't expect them to, especially with the elevations of the quarterbacks now. Do they have the emergency quarterback rule now? Is that something new?
That's been a thing since the 49ers
right?
Eagles game, the championship.
So you wouldn't have a third one anyway. So yeah. All right. You want to take running back?
Yeah, I'll take running back. Running back, well, it was great for like 45 minutes in the offseason with Aaron Jones, but we all knew that wasn't happening.
AJ Dillon?
Well, yes, but I'm saying before, Mike, we had the best running back duo for 45 minutes in the offseason. We got to admit that.
Yeah.
We got to admit that. But A.J. Dillon is out for the year, and he has a similar injury to what Jermichael Finley had when he got hurt with us. So that could be an ending of a career, folks, which is very unfortunate to see. I just hope A.J. Dillon, Quadzilla, Quadfather gets better. He's out for the season, but I mean, it was fun watching when he could, but the potential, like, it could have been a bit better. He could have done a lot better, I feel like. I mean, he did all right at best, I would say. But I mean, it's AJ Dillon. But they did go with running back of like investing in it this offseason. Thank goodness, because of this situation, which we got Marshawn Lloyd, which is good, but he's banged up a little. So we'll see how it goes. But right now he's gonna be the backup from what I'm looking at. from what I'm seeing here. And then you got Emmanuel Wilson, which I like Wilson a lot because I think Wilson could be a third down back, especially if you need a dump off guy or blocking guy. I think he's the right guy to do it. Now, for our main running back, Josh Jacobs, I really like him a lot. I think we got younger. It was a good idea for Goody because we don't spend in the running back era. The market. We don't spend in the running back market. And I just think with this move, it's going to be helpful. But let's not forget, he did sign a multi-year contract, but it's a one-year deal pretty much when you really look at the contract. So it's a prove-it year for Josh Jacobs. And I think he's going to prove it. But we have to. My big thing with him is how is he going to do in the passing game? Because he really hasn't been involved in the passing game so much in his career. So I got to see that from Josh Jacobs. But I think he's going to do pretty well. Mike, I leave the floor to you.
Yeah. So what do you call it? Josh Jacobs, I think, was the best move of the offseason on the offensive side of the ball, of course, not on the
Totally agree.
Side of the ball. I think Josh Jacobs is really going to add a different dynamic to this offense that really is going to open things up. Obviously, you saw how it could affect the team last year with Aaron Jones in the Cowboys game.
Yep.
Completely changed his offense having a dynamic running back. Problem with Aaron Jones was he could not stay healthy. Josh Jacobs, like you said, younger, had a really good beginning of his career in Oakland or Las Vegas.
Bit of both.
Definitely kind of. Sorry?
It's bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Right? Did he start in Oakland?
He did start in Oakland, technically. Then they changed the name, so he was bit both. Like, so you're right.
So I was right. So, definitely one of the top running backs in the league back then. Now, fast forward to a few years when kind of Devontae Adams joined. Oakland did not have, or Las Vegas did not have the offense that really kind of passing game that would have opened up the running game. So I do think that, Jordan Love's mobile ability, the ability to pass downfield with the receivers we'll talk about a little bit, I think it's definitely going to open up the field for Jacobs. Now, he is going to have an expectation to carry the load quite a bit, especially with A.J. Dillon's injury, which, we didn't know he was hurt. We knew he came into camp in pretty good shape. I said this was definitely going to be a prove-it year for him in Green Bay. Apparently, he has a stinger injury in the neck, which is true stinger. I feel like that's not a season-ending injury. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's something more than that, and they're just not reporting it that way because they don't have the information or whatnot. Obviously, with neck injuries, you're going to think, at least what I think about is like Nick Collins.
Yep, Nick Collins, Jermichael Finley.
Or Jermichael Finley, which could be career-ending injuries. And the fact that they were so quick to say it's a season-ending injury when the season's even started yet with a neck injury does not sound good. So I do hope AJ's okay. I hope he comes back, although I would assume it's not going to be in Green Bay moving forward. Just because this was a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Not even going to be able to play it out. I assume they're going to have some kind of injury settlement or something.
Yeah.
Now, we have talked about this in the past, how his wife and his house is in Green Bay and all that.
He's the mayor.
He's the mayor of Door County, right? But I don't know. I just feel like this is probably it for him. It's just the way I feel.
I agree.
So, that's unfortunate because he definitely came into camp in probably the best shape of his career is what it was being reported. So it's unfortunate what happened. And at first I thought it was maybe the Packers just doing that instead of cutting him. They just kind of did that. But it doesn't seem that way. It seems like they really wanted to use him. So, it's definitely unfortunate. Marshawn Lloyd did not get put on PUP, which is big because if they put him on PUP, he'd be out for 4 weeks.
Yep, and we screwed it because then we have 2 running backs left pretty much.
Well, technically we do have 2 running backs right now because if he's not going to play week 1, which I don't think is going to happen, you still only have 2 running backs. So they're probably going to have to elevate some practice squad. You got to go to a game with 3 running backs. So, So, you got Wilson, like you said. Who's on the practice squad running back? Why?
They just signed a fullback, Andrew Beck. Yeah, they signed the fullback, Andrew Beck from Houston. They got LaMichael Perrion to the practice squad and placed running back Nate McCrary on the practice squad injury IR. So they did get Perrin to the practice squad.
Michael Perrine.
Yeah.
So I bet you he's active in Brazil. I would assume that he's probably going to be active. Unless Marshawn Lloyd somehow could go. But, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of expectations on Marshawn Lloyd. But I did pick Josh Jacobs in my I shouldn't probably be saying this for our fantasy draft, my other, because he's going to be carrying the load here. He's going to be carrying the load. I mean, I think Emmanuel Wilson's good. I think he can, be a serviceable running back as a backup. And I think Marshawn Lloyd is going to become the backup when he's healthy. It's definitely a long-term injury since they could have put him on injured reserve and have him come back, and they had a spot there. When those two injured reserves now that you can put them on before cut downs are effectively free roster spots, right?
Yeah.
Because before you'd have to, in order to get somebody on there, you had to cut somebody, had them go through waivers, put the other guy on injured reserve, and then take him back, right? Now you can just put the guy in injured reserve to begin with and keep the guy on the roster. So you don't have to put somebody at risk of being claimed from another team by waiving them. So now it's really a free roster spot. So if they did not think he was going to come back in the 4 weeks, they would have been dumb not to put him on IR. So they clearly think that he's going to be back in, let's say, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Definitely not any more than that. But maybe he'll play week 1. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I'm hoping it, but I wouldn't bet it. But yeah, obviously, I think Josh Jacobs is a step up than what we had last year, especially. Aaron Jones is a good player, but like I said, he was hurt for most of the time, so that doesn't really help. AJ Dillon's gone, so I think Josh Jacobs is definitely a step above.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he stays healthy. Knock on wood, otherwise we're in trouble.
Yeah, hopefully, folks. All right, let's move on to wide receiver. I'll give the floor to Mike because he's in love with all of these weapons here. What do you love about it, Mike?
Yeah, obviously they're young, right? It's not much different than last year. Basically the same. Glad Malik Heath made the team. My guy Malik Heath from liked my post last year. So let's see. Obviously up top, Watson, Dobbs, Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Bo Melton, Heath. Watson, need him to stay healthy. The hamstring gods got to come to him this year, and he's got to stay healthy because last year was not the season for Watson.
Yep.
It was a very disappointing season in his sophomore season, so we need to get him to have a junior season, I guess, much better than what he had last year. Dobbs, just want him to continue growing. I think he had a really good season last year. He was really the one for a lot of it before Jaden Reed kind of came on towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Definitely think Dobbs has the opportunity to keep growing and carry the load in a lot of ways. Reed, obviously, I think is probably the best receiver on the team, in my opinion.
Potentially.
Obviously, I think Watson has that ability. But at the moment, I think Reed's the best receiver on the team. Definitely showed it last year towards the end. But I'm not saying Watson has more potential in him. I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
Although he needs to stay healthy, he needs to show it because he didn't show it last year. So I can't give him that title yet. But Reed is just a great slot guy. Great hands. It's just basically more fast version. He's kind of what MVS always could have been if he had good hands,
Exactly.
Not as fast as MVS, I don't think, but definitely got the speed, got the ability to catch the ball. So we're high on Jaden Reed. Go back to the backups. Dontavian Wicks, I think he played really good last year, especially for kind of where he was drafted. I think a 5th rounder.
Mr. Vontae Adams.
Yeah. Really hoping that he kind of picks off what he left off last year, just playing hard.
Mm-hmm.
Melton and Heath probably don't play a ton, probably more special teams guys.
Melton Heath had some games. They had some good games of showing up I mean, the only big one there's Samari Toure got cut.
Yeah, I don't think that was a surprise though. I know he's made the team in the past, but I think this was the year for him to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Did he make it back to the practice squad or no?
No, I believe he got picked up from I forget what NFL team. He got picked up from some team.
Yeah, we had 3 players claim their waivers: Anthony Johnson Jr., Maurice Newman. And was it Toure?
Yeah, Toure got picked up. He got claimed.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I really like this offensive weapons here of these wide receivers here. I mean, again, like you mentioned, Mike, Watson's got to stay healthy. Romeo Dobbs, I'm just gonna say it, which might take this in the draft because of our fantasy, so I really shouldn't say it, but he might be the number 1 wide receiver that Jordan Love's trust guy is, because we don't have a number 1 wide receiver. If you ask Matt LaFleur that question, because he vomits every time he hears that question. But
I think that's good. I think we have like 3 number 1 receivers.
I agree. But I think Dobbs is gonna be the most trusted guy if I had to guess of like when the game's on the line, who's he trust the most. But you can trust most of these guys, I feel like, too.
That's what I'm saying. I think Dobbs is probably the least talented of the 3.
He's
Maybe
the least
you're right. He's got Jordan Love's trust the most, but I think he's the least talented, just kind of tool-wise. I mean, I'm not saying he's not good. I love Arvonio, but I think Reed and Watson have more just talent when it comes to pure athleticism and kind of the ability to play the position. But Dobbs is just reliable.
Yeah, exactly. I just think, I mean, they got multiple receivers and multiple weapons. Like, I mean, we'll get into the Philly game like next week, but again, like, we got more wide receiver depth than Philly does. I'm just saying. Personally.
AJ Brown, right?
Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
That's it. That's pretty much it. They got nobody else out there.
And they got Saquon now.
We got Dallas Goedert.
Right.
That's pretty much it. Just saying, like, they might be the best duo of wide receivers, but we got the better wide receiver group, is what I'm going to say, folks. Can't disagree on that.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely. All right.
That's it. That's your thoughts.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
All right, cool. All right, so you're tight end now.
Tight ends. All right, the best position in the world here. I'll start off with our one guy, Tyler Davis, is out for the year once again. I don't know if it was.
Can't stay healthy.
Is it the same injury, Mike? If I'm correct.
No, I think he had an ACL last year, if I'm not mistaken. Out the shoulder this year.
Okay.
And
so
he was in there for like two drives.
Yeah, man can't stay healthy. Like we wanted him to stay healthy because he's very good for special teams for us. That was really the main reason why we wanted to keep it, because he was very good in special teams. But again, it's just unfortunate to see. Unfortunate to see out there for Tyler Davis for that. That's just brutal to see.
Hate to see it.
Yeah. But the next guy I like that made the team is Ben Sims. I think he's an all right guy. He just made the team. He had a nice touchdown against Kansas City. That was the one time I like to see him there. Then, of course, you got your 2 main guys, Luke Musgrave, the starter, and then Tucker Kraft. Kraft mac and cheese is what I like to call him, these gentlemen. He is questionable he's been dealing with an injury-wise, but he should be fine for next week in Brazil. But he's dealing with a little injury. Musgrave is fine, but these 2, they're going to be fun, especially when you watch the screen to tight ends. It's going to be very fun watching that tight end screen happen. I really like these 2, and I think they're going to have it pretty good. They're going to be, like we mentioned, wide receivers. Like, we don't need a number 1 tight end. It's really the offense. You can trust these, and both these guys have earned Jordan Love's trust. But the big thing I will say for Luke Musgrave, and this happened multiple times, the guy's got to stay on his feet. And he did the one time in Dallas when we scored that huge touchdown on them in the postseason. But the man's got to stay on his feet. And Tucker Kraft cannot be hurdling so many guys. We love to see it, but he can get hurt again. Those are my two concerns about the tight end room. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a huge year for Luke Musgrave. They did not pick him in the 2nd round, right? Because
it was James Reed.
Kraft was 3rd, right? But they went in their 2nd
No.
round?
I believe Musgrave went before Kraft.
But they were both the 3rd round?
No, because we had 2 second rounds, remember? Because of the Jets Aaron Rodgers trade.
Right. So he was a second-round pick.
Yeah, Musgrave was, not Kraft.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I said. All right, cool. So, yeah, luck. We did not pick him in the second round to perform the way he did last year. He needs to be a receiving threat in this offense. Like you said, he needs to stay on his feet. But I need to see a big jump from him this year. Not that he had a bad season last year, but when you pick a tight end in the second round, I want to see some real production, and especially in the red zone. Like I need to see more from Luke Musgrave. So my challenge this year is Luke Musgrave to take a big step forward. Tucker Kraft, I think, definitely probably outperformed what we expected from him last year, especially because I think a lot of people had high hopes for Musgrave. Tucker Kraft is a little bit of an afterthought. Not that he was a low draft pick. Third round is just almost just as high as the second round. But I think more people saw him as like a blocking receiver / special teams guy compared to Musgrave, who doesn't block as much and is a receiving threat. But honestly, Tucker Kraft might have been, when Musgrave was hurt for a few weeks, a bigger receiving threat than Musgrave was for a lot of the season. Yep. So definitely want to see him take a step forward, and maybe even, if he can give Luke Musgrave a run for his money for being number one tight end, and Luke Musgrave takes a step, that's scary to have two really good tight ends there, plus the receiving core, plus Josh Jacobs, and obviously Jordan Love. So, this offense could be really cooking with gas if the tight ends take a big step forward. Ben Sims, I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about.
I don't know much. I just like the name. And he had a nice touchdown against Kansas City. That's all I can say about him.
Yeah. All right. Offensive line.
There was the move today.
We'll take this together. What?
There was this announcement for who's starting right guard, Mike.
Oh, I didn't see that. Is it Jordan Morgan? I mean, he's on high on the depth chart. Really? They haven't updated the depth chart then.
It's my guy, Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan.
So is Morgan not starting?
I don't think he's starting. Because you got Rasheed Walker, left tackle. You got Jenkins, left guard. Myers, center. Morgan, I think he's dealing with an injury also, but I think he's fine. And then you got Zach Tom on the right tackle.
Maybe that's why. Maybe Morgan's hurt. He is. He's questionable.
Trying to see if I find anything of news-wise for him. But, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of not surprised to see it, but, like, still – I mean, I think he was fine during preseason personally, but I wouldn't want to put him up against, like, obviously it's the Eagles, but like that's a heavy competition. And I get that's like a lot of high stakes week one. So I trust Sean Ryan in that situation because he has the experience. So I'd rather like start him like week 2, week 3 when he plays the Tennessee Titans. I would do that for Jordan Morgan to like if he gets fine, but I would do that.
Yeah. So obviously Rasheed Walker played really well last year. He's backed up by Andre Dillard, who another guy from the Titans, did not have a good performance at I think right tackle last year, or maybe left tackle with the Titans. But this year in camp he was looking pretty good at left tackle. So I think it's a good veteran presence in the room to give some backups. But hopefully Rasheed Walker stays healthy. Elgin Jenkins at left guard. Hopefully we get there. Center's an interesting position because you got Myers and then Jacob Monk. Jacob Monk was drafted this year. He might be the long-term answer at the position, but they're going to give Josh Myers the go to begin with. But I would almost think maybe if Myers struggles, like he kind of has had the tendency to do in the past, give Monk a chance. I'd almost give him a chance. But I'm not sure how his preseason went. I'm curious actually to see how that went.
Yeah.
I mean, right guard, like you said, Sean Ryan or Jordan Morgan. It sounds like Sean Ryan's going to get to go week 1, but probably long term, probably Morgan is going to take that spot.
Yep.
Then right tackle, I don't think anyone's giving Zach Tom a run for his money.
No, he's a stud.
But then you have some backups, Kadeem Tolfert and Travis Glover. So, curious who your backup at left guard is. Probably Ryan and Morgan is your backup at Elgin Jenkins' spot.
Yeah.
Your guards are Jenkins, Morgan, Ryan. Centers, Monk, Myers. Tackles are Zach Tom, T. Ford, Glover, Walker, Dillard.
I do think we're gonna have a very good offensive line, though, Mike. I think we're gonna have a pretty good one, though.
I mean, I think it's
just gonna be solid.
unproven, other than Jenkins, Tom.
Walker. I mean, he was good last year.
He was good last year, but I still think that was one season. Let's see if he can.
Yeah. I mean, Myers is the only questionable. He did step up though late in the season, but again, I don't he might give you some issues here and there, but I think this is gonna be a solid it's not gonna be the top 5 offensive line of in the league. I think it's gonna be a solid offense though, or solid offensive line. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've kind of wrapped up the offense, I mean it's good offense. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of weapons. They're well-rounded, very young. I mean, this is a big season for this team. A lot of people picking them to make the Super Bowl. Am I going to pick them to make the Super Bowl? I don't think so. But is it on the table? I think so.
Yeah.
What is on the table is the solidification of what could become another dynasty of the Packers if, right? Somebody said I was negative last week, and I definitely was going to last week, or not last week, last time we spoke.
Yeah.
A little bit better now. Not great, but a little bit better. Anyway, I think that this offense, with the youth that's on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they band together, start off where they left off last year, and build and get stronger. I mean, this could be another dynasty in the making. Obviously, it all starts with Jordan Love. Then goes to the offensive line. Like you said, it needs to be a top-tier offensive line. And then branches out to the weapons. The weapons has a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
But this team is a cohesive unit, plays efficient, fast, strong.
Yep.
The sky's the limit in terms of where this team could go in the long run. Whether or not they win the Super Bowl this year, I think it's to be determined.
Yep.
But there's no reason why they can't set themselves up for a bunch of years of success if they solidify this young group and give them a full year, right? Last year was kind of like a figuring out year, right?
Yeah, it was evaluation year.
This year is a settlement year in terms of, if we laid the foundation last year, the concrete foundation, this is the year where it's really drying out almost, right?
Yep.
And if it really solidifies and becomes strong, I think we have the runway now to take off in a bunch of years. That's what we're doing this year. Last year we set the foundation. This year we're figuring out if it's going to settle correct or if it's going to crack. If it settles correct, I think we're cooking with gas.
Absolutely.
But it's still too early to tell, right? I'm not trying to be negative, right? But it is too early to tell. Like last year was a good season.
Yeah.
But you got to show it this year, right?
Exactly.
We don't know yet. I mean, yeah, we had preseason, but the offense really didn't play that much. Jordan Love did look pretty good when he was out there and against the Browns. I'm glad I saw that.
Yep.
So, if this foundation that we set last year settles and there's no cracks, I'm definitely going to be thinking pretty highly about this team towards the end of the season, regardless if they win the Super Bowl or not. I don't think that's the goal for this year. I mean, that's the goal every year, but really the goal is to build something here that has long-term potential. That's what this team has. It's the youngest team in the league, has a lot of potential. It just the glue needs to stick. If the glue sticks, I think Goody did it again because this team is not going anywhere. They're all young. Obviously, you have to pay them somehow. Just gave Jordan Love a lot of money. If everyone needs to get paid at the same time, that's kind of tough, right?
Yeah.
But you got to have a 2-3 year runway where this is a young team that could take off. So hopefully this is the year. If not, I think we got to set ourselves up for next year, the year after, being real big windows of opportunity. But I think the Packers took a swing for the fences with some of the acquisitions we got on the defensive side. We already talked about Josh Jacobs, but I guess we'll get to the defensive side now.
Yeah.
Especially in free agency and the draft. I mean, that could be really where you see a big jump. So this offense, same as last year for the most part. I mean, really, what changed? Josh Jacobs, right?
Josh
The whole
Jacobs.
running back room changed. Right?
Yeah, running back room changed.
The
I
receiver core basically the same, right? No really changes there at all.
Same with tight end.
Tight end exactly the same, right?
I mean, the only
offensive line effectively the same, other than Monk and Morgan.
I feel like I could. I mean, the only thing I could see with the offensive line, because like they were trying to move guys around, so it could switch. But I mean, it really depends. Like my personal opinion, I think it's just really depends on the right guard position, Mike. Because if someone's not doing well there, then who's going to replace? Like if Morgan and Ryan aren't doing great, then that's going to be a huge weakness in our whole for that side, because we got to also see Walker like do it again, like Jordan Love.
Right. Yeah, I think this year on the line there's a little bit more solidification. Last year it was going to go over the place. Not really sure what's going to happen. Yeah. This year we know Rasheed Walker's going to be left tackle. We know Jake's going to be left guard. Myers going to be center unless Monk beats him, which I think is possible. But either way, either one of them going to be center. I think Morgan is Ryan or Morgan, and the right tackle's top. Now, again, the one thing that could kill all this stuff is injuries. Do they have a ton of depth? I don't think so.
No. We had to deal with that last year.
I don't think anyone wants Dillard out there. Again, probably Monk may be better than Myers. I'm not sure. But Morgan and Ryan, probably a little bit interchangeable. I think we want to see Morgan out there as much as possible. But on like right tackle side, I mean, do you really want Gideon Telford or Travis Glover out there? Probably not. So, you don't have a ton of depth. But then again, I don't really know who those guys are. I mean, maybe they could come in and play. I'm not sure. But, yeah. All right. So let's go to the defense.
Defense, ladies and gentlemen. The best part is we made a lot of things this offseason where we don't have to deal with Joe Barry, Mike. Joe Barry's completely gone.
No Joe Barry. We got a nice young defensive coordinator in it that everyone seems to really love. But the biggest difference is no longer a 3-4, which has been the case in Green Bay for a long time since I guess Dom Capers came over, right?
Yeah, it started. Yeah, the old defense started when Dom Capers came in.
Yeah, so now we're back to 4-3, which I know doesn't have a ton of impact anymore because of this whole edge position, and
a
lot of times they could play with their hand on the ground regardless. So I know it's the base packages don't matter as much, right? I think a lot of defenses also out of the dime package anyway. And I'm not a defensive expert, but my understanding is the 3-4. Obviously, you have 3 with their hand on the ground on the line, and then you have 2 middle linebackers and then 2 edge positions. 4-3s, you have 4 with their hand down on the ground, right? 1 middle linebacker and 2 outside linebackers. Is that right?
I think another middle linebacker instead of an outside.
So you only have 1 outside linebacker?
No, it's 2. Excuse me. You're right.
Yeah. So the difference is the middle linebacker, right?
Yeah.
So we lost Devondre Campbell.
Who went to the 49ers.
So Quay Walker is your main. So it's called MLB middle linebacker. Sorry. So there is no.
Yeah, it's inside technically.
W and S.
The W I believe is for weak side linebacker. I mean, they always do that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they always that's on every defense for when you look at ESPN, but it's like not completely true.
But in the 3-4 it was inside linebacker versus outside linebacker.
Yeah.
So now you have WMS, right? So really they're all the same.
Yes.
Compared before it was inside versus outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have 2 outside, 2 inside. Now you have weak, strong, middle.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that.
Yep.
So Preston now is, I guess, going to move with his hand on the ground.
He's not doing any coverage on Justin Jefferson, Mike?
I guess not.
Oh, that's great.
That's
our best corners out of the game. Sweet.
So now that's a big difference, right? I mean, we're just trying to think about it, right? So your defensive tackles are Clark and TJ Slaton, right? Plus Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, Colby Wooden,
Jonathan Ford. but he's
Jonathan
hurt.
Forby's on the IR, but he can come back, right? He's
Yep.
the guy that can come back. And then your defensive ends are Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Kingsley Barre,
Lucas
Van Ness, Brenton Cox Jr., Aaron Mosby. So I guess Gary and Preston now have to start with the hand on the ground and base.
Yeah.
Huh. So, I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting because these guys haven't played that in a long time, right?
Yeah. So
I mean, you got to think it's a different
scheme and philosophy.
Way you're coming off the ball, right?
Yeah.
If I'm coming in with a running start, I can make different moves. I could like try to turn somebody around, swim move, right? Now with my hand, like I got to do that. I'm right in front of the guy, and I have to do it right away. You know, it's a lot more sudden of movement rather than a kind of like a fox where I could be nimble about it. Right now, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm doing it right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, again, that's only when they're in base package. A lot of times things are in dime, probably not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, very similar to last year again, right? Really, who's the big difference here? Cox and Mosby.
Yeah,
same thing as last year. So no real change.
we had Cox last year, but we had him, but
I think they both were in practice squad last year.
We just got Mosby.
Oh.
We just signed him to the squad, but Cox was on the practice squad last year.
Yeah, basically the same. So the lines is basically the same.
Yes.
You know, Kenny got more money. That's good for him.
Yep.
Slayton hopefully takes a big step up.
Yep.
Preston's getting older. And I don't know if Lucas Van Ness is going to take his spot eventually. We'll see.
I think he'll step up a bit. Not a whole lot, but I think he'll get a step up.
Right. The big surprise of the offseason is that Kingsley Barre did not tear his ACL in the Cowboys game, I believe, or the 49ers game. So that's very good, and he will be playing.
Yep.
But yeah.
I mean, you also got Edgerrin Cooper, who's not starting, Mike. It'll be Eric Wilson. The guy, if the Packers would have won the 49ers game, was our MVP, we both said.
Right. Sorry, say again?
So for the linebacker, they announced that Eric Wilson is the start over Edgerrin Cooper because we didn't get to see much action with Cooper.
Oh, right. You're going to linebackers.
Yeah. But with Eric Wilson, we both said, like, if the Packers won the 49ers game last year, he was our MVP in that game.
Yeah.
Because he recovered the fumble.
I'm surprised, actually. But I think he's hurt. So, I mean, I think your long-term solution there is going to be Edgerrin Cooper.
Yes. But he hasn't got much play time because he's been dealing with injuries in training camp a lot. So, like, I think he'll play soon, but, like, the health is a concern to me a little here.
Right. But, yeah, and you got Walker, Isaiah McDuffie's starter now.
I love it. Put McDuffie in there. He deserves it.
So I guess he kind of gets a promotion here.
Well, that's what happens.
Before, you only had 2 inside linebackers.
That's what happens when he went to Boston College, Mike. So he knows his defense pretty well of what Hafley runs.
I guess you know why he got a promotion? Because we lost Devondre Campbell. That's who he's taking over for.
That too, because Campbell's not the same guy he once was.
But I'm just trying to think, how are we doing the numbers here? What do we miss? In the 4-3, right?
Yeah.
We have 4 linebackers. Sorry, 4 defensive line, 3. In the 3-4, we got
the nickel back.
We had T.J. Slayton, Kenny Clark.
Yep.
Who else? Devontae Wyatt, right?
Yeah, we had Devontae. Yeah.
So I guess in this now, Isaiah McDuffie's taken over for the 3rd inside. We lose 1 inside lineman here.
Yeah.
Right? Because the linebackers before were Preston and Gary, right? And you had Kenny, TJ, and probably Devontae Wyatt, right?
Yeah.
Now you only have 2. So Kenny and TJ. Then you bring up the edge guys to play on the line. And now your middle linebackers, you almost have like 3 middle linebackers that were playing. Before you only had 2.
Yeah.
Right? Quay, Isaiah. So actually in the 4-3, your middle linebackers actually more than play.
Yeah.
And you actually lose linemen. I actually thought it was the other way around. In the 3-4, you actually have more big guys play.
That is interesting.
Right? I thought, wow, that's interesting. 'Cause I always was like, when I saw the 49ers play, right, I was like, if we do the 4-3, right, we'll have more big guys on the field. We actually lost a big guy because we moved up Preston and Rashawn to take the 2 outside spots on the line.
Yeah.
Now we have Kenny and TJ, and now Devontae has to be a backup. The linebackers now, they had 2 middle linebackers, so Isaiah McDuffie probably would have been on the field.
Yeah.
Now you have Quay, Eric, Isaiah, or Edgerrin come in, right? So you actually add one and take away the big. It's actually the opposite. Huh? Interesting.
Yeah. Definitely interesting. But I mean, it's a bit different than what it was from not that much from last year, but just mostly like
I think
we lost. We lost Campbell, but we did add guys. We added Cooper.
Personnel wise, yeah.
Yes, we added Cooper. We added Tyron Hopper, who's good on special teams, is what I've been seeing here. So that was a plus for us.
Right, but I think the linebacker and forward part of the defense is basically the same as we're trying to get at. Totally agree. Yes. All right, now let's go to the interesting part.
All right.
Really, the safety room.
Yes, exactly. This was also announced today, Mike, of who our starting safeties were, which is Javon Bullard and Xavier McKinney. I argue, and I will say this, which I don't think Mike's going to argue with me, the best offseason move the Packers made was get Xavier McKinney from the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the easy answer. I honestly would say maybe Bullard. I think Bullard could be the best player out of this draft. I think he's going to be really good. So I'm glad that he's starting day one. No, I think getting McKinney was great. But obviously we're paying for him, right? Javon Bullard, I think, could be really good. And he's a rookie, so I think that's really good. But yeah, if we want to start the safety room, they went 3 guys in the draft. Bullard, Evan Williams, Kidden Oladapo made the team. Then you got Zane Anderson, who's really a special teams guy, but he's also in safety. But like you said, Bullard and McKinney's going to be our starters. Huge upgrade from Savage and Jonathan Owens, right?
Yeah.
So that room completely got overhauled.
Rip Simone Biles
there. Great stuff there. And thanks, Simone, for wearing our Packers shirt in Bears territory. That's very interesting of you. You know, I spent a lot of money on that one and didn't want to get a new one.
Hey, we love it. We love to see him wearing enemy territory.
Yep. And then if you look at the cornerback room, we took a little bit of a step back in cornerback, I'll be honest, because we lost the Bills guy last. Then we'll get when they went to the Bills. I forget. What's his name?
Rasul
Douglas. Yeah, Rasul. How could I forget? You got Jair, Corey Ballantyne, Eric Stokes, Carrington Valentine, LJ Davis on IR. So really just 4 cornerbacks, which is pretty not a lot. It's kind of interesting that they only went 4.
Yeah.
Obviously, hopefully Jair takes a step forward this year. He's had some issues with,
health or off the
not on field stuff. Just
a bit off. Well, really, it's on the field, but it's a bit off.
Yeah.
It's a bit of both.
So hopefully, it seems like he's happy with Hafley. So hopefully that's kind of behind him. Valentine and then Valentine. Hopefully Valentine takes a step forward this year.
Yeah.
Eric Stokes is the big question mark here, right? First round pick from 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, was hurt 2 years ago. Last year, I think he was hurt for the beginning of the year and it came in, but never really did much last season. So big question mark to be your starter. Big question mark to be your starter. And I honestly think cornerback is the biggest risk on this team.
It's going to be a big risk.
Really, I'm not too worried about Jair. I'm more worried about Stokes. I think Stokes will be good. Problem is we haven't seen it in a while.
We have to wait.
Pretty concerned about it. But don't forget, we also have Keyshawn Nixon, who's NB. I'm not sure what that means.
That's nickel.
Oh, nickelback.
Nickel.
So we still have Keyshawn, so don't forget about him.
We got Nixon.
And if Stokes goes down or something, Valentine could step up, and I do like Valentine. So I think we're okay. Quarterback, but I think that's probably if I could just go through all these positions. Obviously, we haven't got to special teams yet. I think that's probably the weakest part. Although, I don't want to undersell this kid. We don't really know yet with him. We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
I think the quarterback room is probably the weakest room on this team.
I would totally agree with you. I mean, we had Valentine and Ballantyne, both of them. I mean, they were good, but again, we really don't know how well they're going to be. So, I mean, it also depends on Eric Stokes. Is the guy going to be healthy? Because he's also dealt with a hamstring issue. Is he going to be the same guy? Because first year, he looked solid. And when he got back, not the same guy. So that's going to be a big concern to me this upcoming season.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that there's no talent there.
Yeah.
Right. You have Jair, who's Jair. Eric Stokes, a first-round pick. Carrington Valentine's a seventh-round pick, but, I am pretty high up on him. I think he's seventh. Valentine, I guess. And Nixon, obviously, is a reliable player and also your kick returner. But, yeah. I think there's a lot of unknown, but it could be a good room.
Yeah.
So I guess overall on defense, I'm excited to see how Hafley leads this team. I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Kind of how they respond to Hafley's leadership. He's going to be in the box. I think that was news that came out. He's not going to be on the sideline.
That came out today. Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they approach the 4-3 defense, how they approach Hafley's leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just like the offense.
Yeah.
This is kind of setting the foundation year, I'd say, actually, almost, because of the new coordinator.
Yep.
So as in the offense had last year to kind of set the foundation, and this year is more settling. I think this is actually the year to set the foundation of the defense.
Yes.
So if the offense settles in and the defense kind of finds its groove based off of the new – the good thing is I think the defense, because a lot of these guys have played together already, maybe they were a little bit dysfunctional based off of the prior thing, but they kind of know each other. They kind of know how to – and we've got really good pieces where we need Xavier McKinney. That was going to be really good from a leadership position in a big spot of the field that's important. Your middle full safety. Yeah. Bullard, who's a young guy that's super talented next to him, that I think is going to really take the leadership of McKinney to get better.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
Jair, who hopefully takes a big step after last year and all his issues with kind of the leadership. Now, he's been on record multiple times saying he's happy with Hafley, so there's really no excuses.
Well, I better see no incident with the coin toss again.
Right. Stokes and being healthy, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we got to see Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, and steps this year. Devontae Wyatt, those three guys. Rashawn Gary, Devontae Wyatt, I want them to almost become.
I think I'm banking on Rashawn at least to have a very good year. I think he's going to be a very good player this year.
I want Rashawn to be elite, and I want Lucas Van Ness to be very good, and Devontae Wyatt to be very good. If all that stuff happens, this is very, very promising. Also, don't forget about Edgerrin Cooper. I think is going to be a good piece.
Yeah, exactly. Long-term answer, though. Long-term answer for him. But, yeah, I think this defense, it'll be very interesting to see watching this defense and how it goes. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, and having Kingsley, too. That's one thing I forgot. Having him play is super important.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the defense, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, do we really want to head to the special teams here?
Of course.
All right.
You got to finish it up.
All right, let's finish it out here. I mean, we already talked about the kicker, so do we really want to continue with the kicker here? Because, I mean, we already –
Yeah, let's just do it real quick. So, I mean, obviously, Narveson, I think, is going to be a work in progress, as in he doesn't have any experience. But I think that, it's just going to be – I think he's got more potential than that, Andrews Carlson. I hate to say it. Just from what I've seen so far. Yeah. It seems like they found something with this kid. So I can't say he's going to be good, but maybe he will. It's going to be a little bit different, I guess. I don't know where he kicked in college, but, in Tennessee, of course, although he was only there for preseason.
NC State.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of, when the weather it gets cold, how that affects him.
Yeah.
We don't really know that yet. But yeah, that's him. I mean, I think it's probably a step up from Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson. So I guess it is what it is. We'll have to see, but it could become really bad or it could be really good. It's just really a big question mark. Not much to add.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much so.
And then punter and holder is Daniel Whelan, who, obviously there was no competition for him last year. After last year, I think that we're pretty happy with him. So
Yep.
I don't think there's much to say there. Nixon punt return and kick return. That's actually pretty interesting. Sometimes they have Reed do one of those. So
They've listed him as the backup, so they might alternate sometimes.
Right.
But I think punter probably, but still.
Right. So yep. And then long snapper Matt Orzek. So they really did not. I know they brought in the Wisconsin guy to kind of give Orzek some competition, but he didn't really. Right. He didn't really catch on. So Whelan and Orzek they were happy with. It was kicker that kept being the big question mark. And right now, I know we said cornerback's the biggest question mark, but really it's kicker. I'd say, but it's not really a black mark on Naverson. It's more a black mark on kind of their ability to set this team up for a good kicker the past few years. Then they're just taking kind of a shot in the dark with Narveson because they were able to get up on waivers. But we'll see. We'll see with him. There's no shot on him. It's just a shot kind of where this team's been with kickers since they left Mason Crosby. They really haven't been able to find and fill that hole.
Oh, exactly. But, yeah, that's the roster, ladies and gentlemen, of this. And we also forgot to mention, Mike, we forgot to mention our Packer former players that got inducted to the Packers Hall of Fame, Mr. Clay Matthews and Aaron Campbell.
Yep, congratulations.
We'll miss Clay Matthews' Fabio look.
Yeah, of course. All right. How was your bar scene last night? I heard you went out. Now you're going out?
Sometimes.
Yeah, enjoy. You only did college once, Jeremy. Senior year, right?
Yeah, senior year.
You still in the dorms or you got a off-campus house?
We are technically in the apartment here. I'll show it to the fans here. We got this is the room I'm in. It is very, very, very humid in here, ladies and gentlemen. Very humid.
You have your own room though?
No, I have my roommate here. Wait, there we go. That's his side.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got that. My TV is all the way out in the other room because my TV could not fit up there. If I put it up there and the door open, well, it gets cracked. So we didn't put that in there. Usually my desk is over there, but to make this scene better for you guys with background, I put it up here just to put my desk because literally I moved my desk for you guys.
So you're in the on-campus stuff?
Yes, still on campus, but in apartment version now.
Nice. Cool. So you don't have like a living room? It's just
Oh, we have a living room, but it's also crammy too. It's like not that big.
But it's just you two? There's no other
No, there's other people. We got three other roommates.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So we got a whole group.
So wait, it's 3 and then 2? Is that the way it works?
No, it's 1, 2, and 2.
Oh, so somebody has their own room.
Yeah. They
paid that guy get that one.
He paid for it first.
Oh, he's paying more money?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. That sounds like fun. So, yeah, I guess we'll be drafting for our league. Thanks for everyone who joined on Tuesday, seeming like. And then we'll probably do a show on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Probably Wednesday. It
what
might
did I say? You have something going on Thursday?
It's week 1's game.
Oh, yeah,
right. Ravens. So
probably
Wednesday. We'll probably do Wednesday.
We'll probably do Wednesday, right? Because we don't want to stream during the game.
We could be streaming our fantasy football draft though. That would.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty boring. I don't think anyone wants to watch that. Yeah. Maybe. Well, I guess we'll talk about it. So I guess we'll probably see what show we're gonna do. Maybe we'll see if John wants to come on or something.
We will try. Yeah, definitely. John will try.
But yeah, all right, sounds good. Anything else you have?
Well, it's football, ladies and gentlemen. Football's back. It's great to be in a fun football environment again because we've been missing football, and we always kick the Cowboys' butt. Now we get our football back, and we take on Philly. So we'll be talking about Philly next week. But always go Pack Go is what I like to say. And where can the people find you, Mike? But go Pack Go.
Yeah, just final thoughts on my end. Look, I think the Packers are a great escape for a lot of people, and I think it's going to be great to have NFL back one.
Especially the fans
Packers
in Brazil.
back. Right. So I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a special season.
Yeah.
Not only for the Packers, but just for one, the show,
Mm-hmm.
and two, just for me personally. I think it'll be good to kind of get my mind off some things and watch the Packers. Hopefully, have a good season.
Hopefully, we would love to see that from them.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think, I'll be honest, I wasn't super in tune during the off season, but I'm looking forward to having something to track again and having something to really kind of dive in and hope to have a lot of success. So I'm looking forward to it. Another season doing this together, Jeremy. What is it, our fourth season now? Third season? Probably fourth, right?
I think it's 4. Yeah, 4.
4 seasons doing this together. So, it's fun. It's fun. Do we get a ton of viewers? No. Are we ever going to be Tom Grassi? No. Congrats, Tom, for buying a house in Wisconsin. Leaving the Yorktown. Sorry, I should have said. Leaving the New York area. Don't worry, no one probably watched an hour and 12 minutes. But he's leaving the New York area. So yeah.
So this means you'll be going after his house, Mike.
Should I go? Well, he doesn't own it. He rents it. Should I go live in his house?
Go. Rent the studio out. Rent the studio out. Would
Why
be
do you have to rent the whole house? Imagine renting the house and then we do the show from his.
Exactly. It'd be perfect.
That's not a bad idea. You know what I could do? So I'm a real estate agent.
There we go.
So when the house goes on the market, right? I could go and live stream in the thing.
There we go.
That'd be pretty funny. Obviously, I would want him to probably move out. It'd be kind of weird to have his stuff in there, and then
you get to recreate his entire channel. You get to do all the times he dressed up in a costume. You get to do all the reactions. You get to do the Jordan Love take. You get to go outside.
I think we should do it after he moves out. I think that'd be kind of weird. But yeah, when the house goes on the market, I could do a live stream of his old house. That'd be pretty interesting. He probably should not. He's probably going to block us. I mean, he's gone. Who cares? Once he moves out, it doesn't matter, right? But I honestly don't know where he lives. I just know he lives the city where he lives in.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be here next week, ladies and gentlemen. Football is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. All right, sounds good. So catch us on Twitter. Yep. Sorry, where can we find us? So you obviously keep an eye on the Twitter. I know we had a goal between week 1 to get to 5,000 followers. I didn't even get to 2,000, but sorry about that.
We're gonna work on it. We have new goals, new high expectations this season. We're gonna
Where
get.
Where are we at? We got to start tracking that again.
Let me check. We were just. Hold up, I had it on me. We are at
1944.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will get back up there, ladies and gentlemen. We will get back up there.
All right, I'm looking forward to it, Jeremy. Where can they find you? Any projects you got going on?
Yes, we got plenty of projects. Tomorrow, I'll be premiering my 2024 AFC predictions of where I have people in the stands and who my Super Bowl pick is, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned for that. Then the next week, we're going back to the GOAT series. I'm going to be doing the Raiders, putting them out because we're going back in since I wanted to finally get the staying predictions out of the way. We're going back to that. And Mike can join me on this when he can, but I'm going to do my best to try and stream almost every Monday Night Football game this year. So Mike can join on as a special guest. Or if he wants
when's our first game on Monday night?
That's a great question. I think it's in December. It's either the Seattle or New Orleans game.
All right, so I guess we have to be streaming that one then if that's the case.
We will try it because every time we stream together, the both of us,
we have to delete them afterwards.
We have to delete them because we lose almost every single time.
Yeah. So, all right, sounds good. And if anyone, hour 15, so that's right on time here. That was the late one, though. We did start. Oh, I guess we didn't start late. So
Not that much.
no,
It's normal. It's normal.
Cool.
But yeah. But that wraps up here, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next.